Ask Tom on Home Show.
Christine from Katy has a question about re-caulking her windows.
Yeah, hers need help, Tom. Christine writes to us, what's your advice on re-caulking the poor original job done by the builders on my home back in 2010? I'm also considering weather stripping for my exterior doors. Ice formed on the inside of my windows during the freeze when we were without power for 50 hours. And, you know, Tom, this is one of those questions where, and we've been through this before, people are trying to prepare for something that happens like once every 100 years. I don't know about preparing for those kind of temperatures, but what would be your advice for Christine on caulking those windows and weather stripping the doors?
Okay, well, let's start with the windows. First off, if you have no heat in the house and it's 9 degrees, we have the water in our air in Houston, everything's going to form ice. You can't fight it. You can caulk yourself into a hole. It's not going to work. You're still going to freeze, and if there's any moisture in the air at all, it's going to become ice. So you can't fight it. You can't prepare for it unless you keep your heater running, you have open fires in the middle of your house. The only way to battle that is heat. So I'm going to talk about caulking windows, but I want people to know you can't prepare to have something like that happened and you lose your power in a modern day home without any heat, without any electricity, without any way to control the atmosphere. You are going to have the weirdest stuff happen, and there's nothing you can do to prepare for it. A little ice around the window is the least of a lot of people's worries. They had people that had water freezing coming right out of their faucets into a chunk of ice into a sink. There's nothing you can do about it. It was just a bad time. Now, let's talk about window caulking. When you caulk a window on the inside of the home against the sheetrock returns or the wood return, that's for energy efficiency. That's to control the infiltration, right? So the air on the inside and the air on the outside doesn't have a place to come together. So you're it's like putting the little foam pieces behind the electric plates and stuff where you have your plugs and your switches. You're trying to fill up all the little gaps. And that's fine. And if it looks good and you want to do that, that's your energy efficiency standard. When you go to the outside of the window and you caulk around the brick or the siding, that has nothing to do with energy efficiency, because air is going to migrate into the walls because we have wall cavities with wood frame construction, and it's still going to get in. It's going to find other ways to get into that cavity. It's just the way it is. You don't live in an igloo cooler. I use that term all the time because igloo coolers are made right down I-10. So I drive by it once in a while. Anyway, that is for weathering all the rain and the wind-driven rain, and sometimes we get a little ice and things of that nature. That's why you caulk around windows and doors also on the outside, as far as the frame goes, is to keep the water from getting behind it and rotting the door frames, rotting the window frames or the structure around the windows. So that's why you have two different areas you caulk. Now, as far as weather stripping on doors, you just got to keep your weather stripping up. But it's if water freezes around a little door area or something, there's nothing you can do about it. It's not a submarine, and we have water in the air, and we had a very hard freeze, and we had a lot of people go through horrible times. And in Houston, it wasn't near as bad as, say, Dallas and other areas, because I had property up there that was destroyed from it. So it was just a bad time, and we need to get it out of our minds and just move on. And there's no way to avoid that except with a heating system. Our best friend, and it didn't work for everybody, it worked for me, is a generator.
I was just going to say that. I was thinking the one thing you could do that not only would prepare you for that kind of situation, but for
any of them.
Any kind of, most situations that we have to deal with on a regular basis. And actually, I remember years ago when I was doing research about generators, they said the number one cause of power loss is just wind. A windy day will cause the power to drop. And so
we're getting
God
a lot
knows,
of that right now with our storms.
Right.
We've been losing our power at my house. Maybe you are at yours. I don't know. And it'll go off for 30 minutes, come back on, sure. 15 minutes, come back on. Yeah.
And we could go on and on about it, but I know that what you don't want to do is get one of these gasoline-powered generators, put it outside your garage, hook it up to your panel, and then try to run power back through your house again.
No, I mean, they have their place for little things, for emergencies, camping, things like that, on the job, running tools. But if you really want to keep your house prepared, get a emergency backup generator. I hate to use the word whole house, but it does take care of the majority of the house.
All right. Tom will take care of all your home questions by clicking on the Ask Tom button over there. Fill out that form, send it in. We'll help you out. We'll answer your questions best we can. And, of course, it's all free. Tom posts a new one every day. Tom answers them, and Zach and Mark.
You guys
and
post
Chris,
them. I don't
they
do
all
anything. I hit the button, post.
You're seeing all my work right here, friends. Then they do it.
Yes.
Anyway, but
Mine's
we do it
all right here.
we do it all for you, and we do a new one every day at HomeShowRadio.com, our Facebook page. And if you haven't checked it out, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you click the little bell, it'll tell you when a new one of these comes up, and I predict it'll ring once a day for you.